Hey guys, I thought if I made a couple videos during this whole process of what I think and hope will be a transformation, I will hold myself a little more accountable to doing things. I think I'm a bit of a, I know I'm a bit of a procrastinator. So what I have decided to do is, some of you know who've been following my author journey, I have been querying agents probably for the last 6 to 8 months. And I've done it before in the past as well. And, you have to sort of put on your battle armor and prepare for a lot of rejections. And I think I was prepared because, I've done it before. And, but every time, you have a new story and you think, okay, now this one, this one will speak to somebody out there. And so when you get a lot of rejections, rejection after rejection, you're just like, my God, it doesn't hurt so much anymore as it's just frustrating because either I feel like I'm either not explaining myself well or not explaining the stories well enough in the query letters, or my writing just doesn't resonate with them. And that's fine. That the latter is fine. The former makes me frustrated because I'm like, what am I not explaining well enough? Now, to be honest, every time I go back into my query letter or into my manuscript for that matter, I find stuff that I wouldn't say it's necessarily a mistake, but I could tighten it up. And so I think actually that's what keeps me going is I'm like, oh, I did this here. Let me, fix it and try again. And so we do that over and over and over. And so anyway, I'm at the point, it just kind of hit me. I had my little Tolstoy epiphany today that, my writing won't be for everybody, obviously, but it should be for some people. And I think for those people, they could really love it. And, I just keep thinking, I write, I write because I can't stop writing. I love it. It wakes me up at night. I'll write things on my notepad late at night, just ideas or rhymes or whatever, and it makes me so excited and so happy. So I think it's gotta be for a reason. I'm sure every writer thinks this way, right? That's what keeps us going. It's gotta be for a reason. And hopefully it's to make other people happy in some way. Like, I'm not looking to get rich, famous, none of that. And I'm being honest saying that. I'm not looking for those things. I am looking for my audience. I'm looking for people that appreciate what I'm doing because I have now spent over 10 years working on this craft, working on this art. And I've been a writer my whole life. I've always loved writing. But in terms of children's books, I've been studying the art and the craft of that for over 10 years. And so I feel like I'm pretty good at it now. I do. And I'm not saying that in any sort of, I hope that doesn't come across as a non-humble statement, but I feel like I know what I'm doing. And so I'm frustrated when it's not landing well with other people. So anyway, all that being said, the books that I have out there now, I am not thrilled with. Like, it's not my best work. And I know that's kind of common with authors. They'll kind of, it's hard because you keep waiting for that moment to publish something when everything just feels perfect. And I think it's just like being a parent. The moment is never perfect. You just have to dive in when you're feeling ready. And so I just feel that way with the books. Like, when you publish it, it might not be perfect, but it keeps you going in a sense. It keeps you going and it keeps you kind of diving into the research and ways to continue to improve. So that's what I'm trying to do. And right now I have a middle grade series where it's a 4-part series. The first book is pretty much done. I mean, every time I go in, I tweak it, but let's just say it's done. I'm working on the second book now. I know where I want to take it. I love it so much because it combines my love of meter and rhyme with disability awareness and education that I'm hoping is done in a more playful and artful way, and instead of like a really didactic way. I don't want to really teach people or make them feel like they're learning something. I want them to learn something, but in a fun way, if that makes sense. So like story 1 will focus, so all the stories are about a magical island, of course, based on Tir na Nog off, Ireland, and the twins who have to flee the island and blend in on the mainland of Ireland. And they meet friends kind of one by one. So each book will introduce a new friend, and that new friend will have some sort of disability that becomes a superpower when they go back to the magical island. And that superpower is needed to complete the quest successfully. So for those of you that don't know, I used to be a physical therapist, and so disability awareness and education is near and dear to my heart. So I love incorporating that into my writing. So book 1 will be a little girl with cochlear implants. Book 2 will be a boy with a prosthetic leg. Book 3 will be, I haven't started book 3 yet, so I have to go back to my cheat sheet to remember what I'm thinking. But 3 and 4 are other disabilities. Diabetes. A type 1 diabetes will be one of them. And his body has to be in balance in order to fly, that sort of thing. So I'm so excited. I think it's a good idea. And what's different about it is trying to figure out how to explain it more succinctly, but it's using rhyme. So everything is written in prose except the twins' dialogue. So they rhyme and everybody else speaks in prose, and the narrator speaks in prose. And in my mind, it's a good idea because a lot of these kids are, still loving old picture books and still turning to those for comfort like my girls did, past the point of, being, children's picture book age. There's so much research that goes into how rhyming is great for early literacy and reading fluency. And so I'm like, most books stop rhymes at the picture book age, which is around age 7 or 8. And so my books are aimed for early middle grade, like I would say 6 to 9, 6 to 10. And that's very intentional because I want to bring rhyme in as sort of not only just a comfort writing technique that brings them back to their picture book days, but also as a way for them to improve reading fluency because they're emerging readers. And I think a lot of emerging readers are struggling with early literacy. So I felt like going back and forth between rhyme and not rhyme was kind of clever. And I know why most people don't do it. It's really laborious as a writer to do it that way because, of course, I want it to come off really well and smooth. And when you're writing a novel versus, a 32-page picture book that rhymes, like each of the books of the 4-book series would be about 30,000 words. So, most of it is prose, but, whenever the twins are speaking, that's rhyme. And I love it. It's a great challenge, but it's also, that's why it takes a lot of time. But I keep hearing and reading about how there's a gap in books for the middle grade readers. Like there's a gap that needs to be filled these kids are on their screens all the time. How do we get them back into books? That sort of thing. And so I was putting that in my query, like, this is exactly a way to get them back into books, is to make the books more for them and make them feel kind of nurtured and comforted by the actual books themselves as well. And it just wasn't, I feel like it just wasn't landing. Maybe I wasn't explaining it right. Anyway, long story short, I am embracing just being on my own again. And I think I'm just going to stop querying agents because I guess they're just not for me, if that makes sense. Like, not in any kind of negative way. I know friends who have agents and they're traditionally published and it's going, pretty well. But I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm just better on my own, where I have full control of what I'm doing and I can bring my vision to life. And where I've struggled in the past with being on my own and being an indie author, illustrator, all that is just marketing and finding my people. So I'm going to embrace that challenge and dive into the research that I've never wanted to do, because it's a lot about, I'm not a marketer. Like, even making these videos, I'm not really comfortable doing this, but I need to do it. I need to do it. I need to promote myself. I need to promote my books. So what I'm going to do in this series of videos is just hold myself accountable. I'm going to try to generate some excitement around what I'm doing by showing the process of these stories kind of coming to life. And I hope you all enjoy it. Even if you don't buy the books, I know not everybody I know now has a preschool kid anymore. That's really the age for the picture book I'm working on, is more, I'd say 2 to 6. And now the middle grade, more 6 to 10, somewhere around there, So I know that doesn't fit into everybody's lives, and not everybody has kids those ages anymore. But if you're here, then you're obviously a friend of mine, and I appreciate it. I appreciate just your support, honestly. Like, just hitting the like button and appreciating what I'm trying to do means a lot, and I always try to pay that forward in whatever ways I can. Anyway, guys, I hope everyone is doing well. And I'm going to have a character sketch out soon. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the best part of all this, I think I made a post about it earlier today. My youngest daughter is going to help me with some of the illustrations for the picture book. That's going to be a bit of her summer job. She's really, really talented, like way more than me. She's actually taught me so much of what I know on the iPad and with Procreate. And so I feel like when we play off each other, I hope magic is going to happen. It'll be good. It'll be good. I'm trying to make this, so it's a little boy for the first time. I've never had a story with just a little boy as the main character, but it's based off one of my preschoolers who was so cute, and he was just having a really hard time coming to school. And so that's what made me think of this story. And the picture in my mind is sort of like a cross between The Little Prince and Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes. So I'm trying to sort of do a cross between that, and then I'm just putting together some ideas for how I want to do these illustrations. I'm thinking I just want him and his mom perhaps to be the only colored characters on the pages, and everything else would be black and white. Kind of like in Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Sort of like that, but in a very different style, more of a cartoonish style, not so detailed. I think we can handle that. Anyway, this is so long. I'm sorry. Thank you if you're still here, and hope you're all having a good day. Bye.